Hi, this is Bob with County Records Research, and today is Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017. Again, a very fast year for us. It's already May. Imagine that. We've got our website open. If you're seeing this presentation as we're speaking live, then it's about 11:45 in the morning on Wednesday, May 3rd. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, thank you for joining us on our pre-recorded presentation channel on YouTube. This is our Wednesday webinar. Every Wednesday we provide you a training event in the form of a webinar from 11:45 to 12:45. That's right around lunchtime, so that you can learn how to use the website from point A to point Z, just using your basic search techniques, looking at the site itself and taking advantage of the features and benefits of our County Records Research website. On Fridays, what we do is we do a similar presentation, but we focus more on the actual property research itself. So today we're going to give you a website overview. I've activated the visual portion of the presentation. So if you're looking at the screen, you'll see that at the top we have our County Records Research logo. To the right of that, we have our 800 number, 800-664-2567. This is available to you from 9 until 6, Monday through Friday, Pacific Standard Time, as a resource to get questions answered on how to buy properties, how to use the website, and how to use just your abilities to research these properties to determine different solutions to what you want to accomplish. Some people love to use this information to buy notes on properties as note investors. Other people like to use this information to make offers to homeowners to buy their properties. Still others like to use this information to go bid at the trustee sale auction in 5 different states. Now, I do want to bring your attention to more of the site itself. Notice to the right of our 800 number, we have the button for our live chat support. If you ever see it online with the green light lit, that means that there's an operator standing by to provide you with chat support so you can get questions answered online and still free up your telephone to conduct business. Also, you'll notice that down below we have options for a free property search. This is a free search that doesn't require setting up an account, but we also have the option to set up a 5-day free trial. One of the great things about the site is that you can set up that 5-day free trial and activate your service so you can learn more about county records research without having to expend any money. Now, at the end of your 5-day free trial, that's when you do get charged for the amount of coverage that you want with your account. Now, that being said, over here to the left, we have the 5 different states that we cover. Notice each of our states has all the different counties identified where we can look at the map and see what these different counties are. So that's our California breakout. Okay, when I'm in the site, I can log into my account and I can access all the counties that are available to me based on my subscription. During the free 5-day trial, I have access to all the counties, and then if I decide to limit my account after the fact to keep my cost of monthly service down, then I can just limit my number of county zones accordingly. So below our 800 number, you'll see some buttons. And one of them is our foreclosure processing option. One of the things that County Records has been doing for decades now is helping lenders who need to process a foreclosure on a loan on a property. This is also referred to as a note. And every loan in California has a note as well as a deed of trust if it's against a piece of real estate where we can foreclose against the property. So if you're interested in buying notes, or if you already have notes and you're interested in our foreclosure processing options, you'll notice that once I put my cursor over the foreclosure processing button, then I have all the various subheads underneath that, so I can learn more about the process of foreclosure and how it would affect me either as a note investor or as a current owner of a note who needs help processing a foreclosure. To the left of that is our pricing button. This just simply gives you our overall price program for the County Records Research website. To keep it easy for our subscribers, we have three basic price structures for the data website. One zone or county area is $89. That gets you access to all the properties in that zone and all the consultation and advice that you need, as well as immediate updates every half an hour for properties on their way to auction. Below that is our second price structure, which is a two-zone rate of $154 a month for someone who wants two zones and they want to access, for instance, Riverside and San Bernardino counties because they're interested in buying throughout the Inland Empire. Then finally we have our all-zone option, which is our bundle price of $195 for everything we cover, all 5 states, all counties in those states. If you're part of a team or you're partnered up with others that are targeting different areas and you want to make it more cost effective to subscribe to the data, then what we recommend that you do is choose the all zone coverage and then split the service amongst other people. So you can subscribe to our data and share the account and share the cost of the account between your friends and partners. This is a great way to get the most out of the service. Everybody gets access to all the county zones, but more importantly, they also have access to our training events, and we'll learn more about that in just a little bit. Now, here's our button to join us for a free trial, and most people who set up their 5-day free trial do pick all zones, and that way you get access to everything, all 5 states, all the counties, for 5 free calendar days. We recommend, if you haven't done that so far, please do. That's your best chance to taste the information that we provide and the support, so you know exactly what you'd be getting as a paid subscriber. Then to the left of that is our login button. We'll look at that in just a moment. And then About Us just simply gives you an overview of the company, the major players in the company, and how we help you to acquire properties and provide you with the information. And then of course I've got Home, which takes me right back to my main page. Now, if we move further down the screen, you'll see that I have a section at the bottom, which is a number of subheadings, which includes foreclosure processing once again. But in addition to that, we have our training and support. So one of the big fixtures with County Records Research that you're going to love is the fact that we provide you weekly training opportunities, such as this Wednesday webinar that we're doing right now. In addition to that, we also provide field trips and seminars at live events that we're invited to periodically. Now, if you look at our training and support header, then underneath that you'll see Foreclosure 101. This is an article that we put together that describes the different steps of the foreclosure process and the different methods of buying these properties. So if you haven't read it yet, we do recommend that you read Foreclosure 101. It's a great article and it answers a lot of your questions. Below that is our industry terms and definitions page. If I click on that, this is a simple glossary of frequently used terms that we use to describe certain situations and events within the foreclosure process and related facts. Okay, so that's our terms and definitions. Below that is our free resources and links page. These are a number of hot links to various other websites. You could go to foreclosureforum.com and learn how to create a land holding trust, or get a lot of questions answered, or read some very interesting articles on how to buy foreclosure properties. It's run by a friend of Kurt's named Ward Hannigan, who's been doing this for many years and helped a lot of people to acquire a lot of properties, as well as his son Eric, who's taking over the running of the site. Flipper Connection is similar to a meetup group, but this is for flippers and people with similar desires to buy properties and to meet other people with like-minded interests. So Flipper Connection is an online group that you could join if you want to meet like-minded people who are also planning to invest in properties. Real Estate Club LA, Sam Sadat's Real Estate Group, these are 2 clubs in the LA County area where people meet to learn how to buy properties and to find investing partners. And further down the page, we have a variety of other websites, including law firms and insurance organizations. So there's a lot on here. And if you find that there's anything that we're missing that you think we should add, we encourage you, just let us know. There's access to the PACER system, which is a way to check on court records if you have questions about a potential bankruptcy or an existing bankruptcy filing, and information regarding tax transfer rates, because if I buy a property at auction, I am going to have to pay some taxes when I transfer title into my name. So this is some helpful information on our free resources page. Below that is our video training. And this is an example of one of the live events that Kurt's done, training people at a local hotel here in Huntington Beach, where he was talking to people about buying REO properties from lenders, and also his junior lender buyout strategy, which has served him very well over the last 36 years, and we do recommend that you watch the video. Below that is our How to Use This website series of small video training modules. Each of these is a very small video, very short, with a very focused point of it. So similar to what we're going to be going over here in a few minutes on this presentation, How to Use This site gives you access to very simple explanations: how to set up an account, how to search properties, what our profile properties or property profiles look like, and our different search techniques, including using the polygon. Okay, if you haven't looked at any of these presentations, we definitely recommend that you do. The more information that you absorb through our pre-recorded presentations, the better you're going to get at doing your own research on the site, because you'll have seen some very good examples of how the site can work for you, in addition to what I'm going to show you here in just a couple minutes. Now, over here to the left of training and support, we have some useful links to join us with our affiliate program. County Records Research has been helping people for decades to buy properties, but a short time ago we developed our affiliate program for real estate clubs and entrepreneurs who want to share the wealth, so to speak, both by creating a promo code so people can have an extended free period, longer than just the 5 days, but more importantly so that clubs and organizations can use our site as a source of revenue. So our affiliate login and sign-up page is for people that want to become an affiliate. They want to drive people to County Records Research so they can find their data, but more importantly, they want to create a club venue where people can learn more from our presentations live, and so the club itself can actually generate a revenue stream from our website to yours whenever your members sign up and take our service. So look up our affiliate information. I think you'll really like it. Below that is our trustee sale bidding service login page. And a trustee sale bidding service is a unique opportunity that we put together for you to buy properties at the auction without having to go. Now, what we've done is we've hired an expert bidder to stand at the auction and bid for you. She's currently today in Los Angeles County at 400 Civic Center Drive in Pomona, and she's placing bids for clients that want to buy properties in any part of Los Angeles County. With our bidding service, you provide us cashier's checks and a power of attorney. We describe it very simply here. And what you do is you then tell us the most you're willing to spend on any given property. When you tell us the most you're willing to spend, then you've set a maximum price on that property. If the opening bid at auction falls below that number, then our bidder knows to move ahead and bid very small amounts above that figure to try and get you the property for a price less than the maximum you've given us. If the price goes above your maximum bid price, we simply don't buy it. If you're the only bidder at the auction, which can happen and has happened, then you could buy that property for a penny over the opening bid, sometimes saving a substantial amount of money. You'll notice here's some examples here at the bottom where people saved $100,000, $122,000, $66,000, and on, 96, 121, 65,000. Every property at the auction has the option of being discounted by the lender, and it's very important to be aware. Lenders oftentimes will discount at the very last moment. You can't be there at the auction every day, but our bidder can. And if you give us the option to bid for you and give us as many potential bids as possible, the odds become in your favor to the extent where you can bid against the big guys and have just as much chance of winning that auction as they do. Nobody can bid on every property every day, but you can bid on most properties if you just give County Records Research the opportunity to place your bids for you. Okay, so this is our bidding service. If you have already set up an account, you can just log in here, or if you haven't, you hit click here and you fill out this simple form to become a bidding service client. Do remember though, this is a supplement to our standard site, so you must subscribe to the standard data to be able to use the bidding service account. The two work hand in hand, and that way you're able to research your properties, have us answer all of your questions and guide you through the process of placing your bids, and then you can simply place your bids in the system. Remember also, to bid at auction, we need cashier's checks within 1 to 2 days before the sale begins, and we need a power of attorney to be able to sign those checks, endorse them for you at the auction if you're successful. We do not charge a fee for this bidding service. It's completely free until we buy a property, at which point we invoice for a flat fee of $2,900, that's $2,900 at the conclusion of a purchase. So when you're setting your prices for the auction, just understand that that fee, just like any other cost that would be incurred after owning the property, is simply cost of doing business. So just build it into your business model and set your bids accordingly, and you'll do great. And our clients that take advantage of this service are buying properties sometimes every month by simply placing bids with the bidding service. To learn more about it, give us a call, or you can go to our YouTube channel and learn more about it, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Now, below the bidding service login is our property search option. Now, there are only two areas here on the site that you need to log into an account to access. One of them is our property search that shows you all the deep information on all these properties and gives you access to an archive that's 8 years deep. We have the best archive in the business for all the notices of default and notices of sale on these active foreclosure properties, as well as historical records on properties that have been in foreclosure before. We also have a forms page that gives you all the necessary documents you might need to print and fill out to take action to buy properties from homeowners, from lenders, to bid at the auction, and to do a variety of other things like request entry to a property or give someone a 3-day notice. So in order to get to property search and forms, I do need to be logged in. So we'll look at those in just a moment. Now, in between the two is our frequently asked questions page. Notice this is a lot like our glossary of terms and definitions, and these are frequently asked questions, and we wanted to just make sure you have access to written answers 24/7, so you can always get in here and find an answer to your question, even if we're out for the day or if you're checking on the weekend. Below our forms option is a series of testimonials. Now, you would think that this would be longer, and it should be, but you know, for many people, we're a best kept secret, because when you buy at the auction and you got a deal, you know, folks at the auction try to keep their secrets close to the vest. I can tell you this, there are a lot of folks that have gotten a very good deal with County Records Research, and if you go to the auction and you talk to the auctioneers, they'll tell you about us. As a matter of fact, if you call any of the local centers where the auctions are held and ask them for information, a lot of them refer you to us, and we consider that a testimonial as well when the county sends you to us to learn about buying foreclosure properties. Now, below that is our trustee sale field trips, our foreclosure basics tutorial, and our email notification. These are all sign-ups. Here's our trustee sale field trip sign-up. That's free to do. Here's our foreclosure basics. This is a series of tutorial emails that we send you. We just updated this week for upcoming short sales at the, or short bids at the auction, drop bids at the auction, and recent purchases. Did you know that some people have bought properties just in the last week where they had as much as $300,000 in equity in the property simply because the lender discounted at the auction and they were there to pick it up? The opportunities are there, and if you sign up for our free foreclosure basics tutorial, you'll see examples of exactly what I just mentioned to you. You'll see where those properties are in Los Angeles County where people saved over $200,000 by bidding at the auction. Now, our trustee sale field trips are live training events where Kurt does presentations during the process of the foreclosure auction. We encourage you to go to those if for no other reason to understand the process of the foreclosure auction, but more importantly, if you plan to bid at auction, never go to the auction unprepared. If you go to Kurt's field trips, no matter which location you go to, all auctions are generally the same. So you want to attend the field trips, ask Kurt questions, and observe. Learn the process, learn how it works. And if you're going to buy at a particular location, make sure you attend several auctions at that location before you actually go there with cashier's checks to bid on properties. Because what you want to do is know the process. Be prepared, research your properties, and make sure you know whether you're bidding on a first or a second or a third. Remember, our goal is to teach you how to do your research, plan accordingly, and get the best prices on properties no matter how you buy them. But the most important thing to remember is the trustee sale is an as-is purchase, and that's the one that requires the most research, because once we bought it, we bought it. If we make an offer, we go through escrow and we're protected by the process of writing our offer form. So again, we cover more of that on our Friday presentation, but I can tell you this, if you're making offers, you are protected. You can make an offer and then go into escrow, and then you can take action after the escrow begins by doing an inspection on the property and inspecting the title information. And if you're not satisfied with what you see, you can back out of the deal, or you can ask to modify your purchase price. So just remember, not everybody buys at the auction, but County Records Research can teach you to do any of the ways that we buy. Okay, and on our forms page is Kurt's 5 ways to buy and create equity. We do recommend you look at that too. Now, so you can sign up for our field trips, you can sign up for the foreclosure basics email, or you can set up an email notification option. This is kind of a cool thing that we've added to the site. This is also a free option. Now, this does not give you all the information on the properties that you can obtain with County Records Research. This is a taste, okay? So just bear in mind, this is to give you an idea of the type of flow of properties that's in the system today. So you can set up and register your search and get it set up so that you get sent emails of property information. It won't be complete because we want you to set up an account and learn how to buy the property from the system or from the parties that are involved by asking us questions. So just remember, the email notifications option is free and it'll give you an idea of the volume. Once you've actually gotten a taste of that, then you're going to want to set up your 5-day free trial and actually get in the site and research properties. Now, on the left-hand side, finally, we have our About Us page, privacy policy. Those are standard for websites. Below that is our calendar of upcoming events. I bring this to your attention because these are our live presentation events. County Records Research is well known for providing you the best resource in terms of training to go along with the data. Anybody can sell you a list, but a list is not information, it's just data. Once you know how to use it, it becomes valuable information. We have clients that use this information and are out getting listings almost on a weekly basis as agents. We have clients that are bidding at the auction on a weekly basis by using our bidding service or going to the auction themselves. And we have many clients that go out and make offers to homeowners and buy their properties at a discounted price by doing it that way. Whatever your method or whatever your guidance is in terms of what you want to do as a business or as an individual, you can use our training events to learn processes of research and of offering to buy properties and bidding at auction so you can become a better investor or a better agent or simply a better business person all the way around. So now, At the top of our calendar of upcoming seminars are Kurt's field trips. Now today's May 3rd, which is a Wednesday, and he just happened to have an event today. Actually, he's going to be going out there in just a little bit to the Civic Center location in Santa Ana, 700 Civic Center Drive in Santa Ana, and Kurt's got a field trip where he's going to be there today at about 1 o'clock. Whenever we schedule these events, we schedule them about a half hour before we expect the majority of sales to begin. So we do anticipate sales are going to be happening at about 1:30. So Kurt's going to be there at about 1 o'clock, and there will be people meeting him there. I've already spoken to at least one person that's going to be joining him, but there are quite a few normally. And what he's going to be doing is he's going to be narrating the events, answering questions, and giving people guidance on the process of buying at the auction. If you haven't, again, been to the auction itself, we recommend that you go there and attend at least one of Kurt's Trustees sales field trips, if not two, and then go attend the same auction location where you intend to purchase properties, if that's what you want to do, and observe. See who the auctioneers are. There will be a specific time for each auctioneer for the most part, and the slower locations might only have 1 or 2 auctioneers. The busier ones could have as many as 4 or 5. Okay, so these are our trustee sale field trips, and you'll see this information is updated every month for new events that we've got coming. So this was just in the last 2 weeks. We had April 27th, Kurt was out in Las Vegas for a special event, so he had a field trip out there. And today he was just in, or he's just going to be in Santa Ana in just about 40 minutes. He's going to be there to do a presentation at the Santa Ana location, and that's for Orange County. Each of these will be for a specific county at a specific time in a specific place. So always come to our calendar of events page to see what field trips we have planned for you. Now below that, these are the events that I do right now. So our Wednesday presentation, what I'm doing right now, is called a GoToMeeting website demonstration, and this is where we teach the best practices and an overview for the site, and that's me, Bob, giving the demonstration. Below this link, which is the live link for those of you that are joining us live, we have our click here to view previous demonstrations option, which takes us to our YouTube channel. Those of you that are watching this on our YouTube channel, obviously you know where that's at, but this is a hot link if you're on the website and you just want to go and observe any of our previous presentations. Okay, so that just takes me right to the previous demonstrations. Now, every Wednesday we give you an overview like we're doing now. Every Friday we log in and we jump right in and we start researching properties. So just remember, Wednesday is this basic overview like we're doing today, and then Friday is when we jump in and do immediate research and start shopping properties. So I like Fridays a little better myself because I'm a shopper. Okay, but today we want to just make sure you know where everything is on the site so you can find what you're looking for. Now, I'm using this little inner scroll bar, and I'm going to scroll down here a little bit further. So you notice we have this section for speaking engagements. And so Kurt just did a presentation just a week ago. He was out in Las Vegas. You'll notice that the Paper Source Note Symposium, this was an event in Las Vegas. It was on the same date that he actually had the field trip that was also in Las Vegas. We like to piggyback 2 presentations together. So if Kurt has an opportunity to speak at one event, he will set up a field trip in conjunction. That's because most of the events that he's invited to are not at the auction itself. They're at an evening presentation, or in this case, he had a lunchtime presentation for a large group of people. What Kurt likes to do is then in conjunction place a field trip event at the local auction location in time with the auctions, so that not only do you get a formal presentation in a group environment, you also have his informal field trip presentation at the auction location. So you get a taste of the auction, so you get a sense of how it works, and you get a sense of Kurt's ability to coach you through the process. That way you have a real good feel for how we help you buy properties, so you can appreciate the importance of having the data but also having a teacher by your side to coach you on how to use it. So this was the Paper Source event in Las Vegas, and you'll notice right below that is an event that he just did last night. Again, today is May 3rd. If you're watching this later on our YouTube channel, Kurt just did a live presentation last evening where he was in Irvine near the Orange County, at the Orange County Airport Hotel, with a group called Orange County for Investors by Investors. It's a meetup group, and whenever we have a group that invites us to speak, we're always going to have a hot link here so you can go right to their website. We're also going to have the location as a hot link that has a map so you can go find them. And if they do charge a fee for the event, we are going to tell you that there's a fee involved. Anytime Kurt's invited to one of these events, we are not the actual event presenter. We're simply a guest speaker. So just bear in mind, if that event does charge a fee at the door or to pre-register, that we'd like to let you know ahead of time, because we encourage you to go to the event. That's an opportunity. And in this particular case, OCFIBI is also part of our affiliate program. So they also set up a free month for anybody that attended the event so they could have a free 30 days before they got started with the website. Okay, so just bear in mind that whenever you come to this calendar page, just by going to the lower left-hand side, whether you're logged into an account or not, you can find out about our live events. That being said, we're going to go back up top. I'm going to click on the home page, and we're going to log in and take a look at how the website itself works, how to save properties, and how to save searches. So now I'm going to go ahead and log into my account, and I'm going to put in my username and my password. Okay. Now, notice that I'm put in the image in this CAPTCHA box with the squiggly line through it. I think I got it right, but also notice that I'm not capitalizing at all. You do not need to capitalize on the website. Lowercase is just fine. So just remember, you want to get the numbers and letters in the proper order, type them in the box below, and then hit submit. Now, since I got it correct, I am now logged into my account, and it says welcome, and on the left here it's welcome Bob Baker. So now I'm in my account. Above the welcome option, you'll notice login is gone, and now it says property search, and to the right of that it says my account. Also notice if I put my cursor over my account, there are a bunch of subheadings underneath it. So we're just going to take a look at these. So once I'm in my account, if I select the my account option page, then this is going to open up my personal account. So this is the Bob Baker account, and this gives me all my information. It gives me the email address that I have when I set up the account. It gives me my renewal date, so this is when I get charged to renew my service, and it gives me the option of going in and making some changes if I need to update my password or any of the other information here on my account, like if I get a new email or I have to change my password. Okay, so this is my account page. Now, once I'm in that, I can either go back up on top to get my subheadings, or I've got tabs up here on top here. Now, in my account, I can save properties, I can save searches, and I can manage the folders in which I save my searches, or excuse me, my properties. So now, let's look at the My Properties option. What this is this a series of properties that I've saved for myself from doing research on the site. Now, this gives you kind of an encapsulated vision of what our data looks like in the site in our spreadsheet format. Now, in our standard spreadsheet format, each of these is a property profile that has a huge amount of detail inside the profile itself. But in this format, it gives me a chance to get an overview of what's going on with the properties simply by looking at the data in a spreadsheet format. Now, one thing that will pop out to you when you're looking at this in this venue, notice that there are two types of profiles in our system. Notice that up on top we have property profiles that have a lot more information than the ones below. The ones below have blank spaces. That's because you have notices of trustee sale where auctions are scheduled, and then you have notices of default where the process of foreclosure has just begun. Now, a lot of folks out there in the marketplace call these pre-foreclosure properties. Properties at the notice of default stage, simply put, have just entered the process of foreclosure. The lender has just taken action, which means these properties cannot go to auction for months, okay? Now, 3 months after a notice of default has been issued, the lender has the opportunity, if the homeowner or borrower has not brought the loans current, to take further action, and that's when they issue the notice of trustee sale. So the records on top are at the last stage of the foreclosure when it's scheduled to go to auction. That's why these properties on top on the right-hand side have a sale date, an NTS sale date, and they have a status column, and some of them have a bid now option if they're in a location where we have a bidder that can place a bid for me at the auction. So the bid now is part of our trustee sale bidding service that we talked about before, where I have the option of telling the bidder what I'm willing to spend for this property. Now the cool thing is I can set a price point regardless of what the bank is owed. Now if I get lucky, the bank will discount at the auction to a number below the number I've given the bidder. And if that happens, the bidder can say, and a penny, and I'll get the property. That happens. That happens where literally the lender drops the price, and then the bidder says, and a penny, and if nobody else steps up and bids, then the buyer gets the property. Now, if I buy it that way, it becomes my property as is. I have to do my homework, and we teach you how to do that on our Friday presentation. But if you can save $100,000 or $200,000 on a property bidding at the auction, then you want to take advantage of it if you have cash to do it. If you have cash, you can bid at auction and you can buy notes. If you're limited on your cash, then you want to make offers. Now your notices of default down below are the beginning of the foreclosure, months before the auction. I could be making offers on these properties, but don't pass on the notice of sale records, because look at this. This property in Redondo Beach is set to go all the way out in June 16th, and the status says postponed to. Now, I get this question a lot. If it's postponed, what does that mean? That means that it's set to go on June 16th, but it was scheduled to sell earlier. This auction's been postponed. This homeowner's under the pressure of an auction, but the sale's not until June. That gives me time to make an offer to buy the property. If I'm going to make an offer, then I'm going to look at what it's worth, ask myself what I'm willing to pay for it, and then set a price and make that offer. If the homeowner accepts, then I can get it into an escrow before the house ever goes to auction. Don't overlook this opportunity, because many people that have the auction over their head will accept an offer and allow you to take their property into escrow, even if you're offering them less than what they owe on the house. So don't overlook opportunities, and don't assume that the homeowner isn't interested in selling the property. Sometimes they just haven't gotten the offer yet, and that's where we step in and take action. So this is my Properties folder. You'll notice up on the top here it says all folders, and that's checked. Now next to that is a drop-down menu of all my subfolders. So these are all folders that I've added below my general folder. So I've got folders for Bob's Houses, I've got Fountain Valley, one of my favorites, Huntington Beach, Indio, also one of my favorites, Long Beach Houses, Palm Springs, Redondo Beach. So for instance, this property on Vincent Street in Redondo Beach, that'll be in my Redondo Beach folder. So if I just select the drop-down option of Redondo Beach, then there's that property on Vincent Street in Redondo Beach, okay? So now when I have my all folders option, all the properties that I've saved are visible to me, so I don't have to hunt and peck and try and find which folder they're in. Okay, so I can save them to specific folders by picking that folder when I'm in the profile, and I can move them around by selecting the option to check a box and move the records with the option down below. I can also check boxes and export them to CSV or Excel if I want to create a little cheat sheet for the auction or run out and make offers by knocking on doors. Also notice that I can create my folders by clicking on the Manage Folders tab, and this is how I created that Redondo Beach folder to begin with. Now, let's say I got tired of this folder, I no longer had an interest in Redondo Beach, I could just check the box and hit the delete record option. Whenever we go to delete anything from the site, notice the system is going to send me a window and it says, do you want to delete this? Are you sure? Okay, which is really good because, you know, we get caught up in things and we can be distracted and start to delete the wrong record. And this system requires us to go in say okay, or in my case, I'm going to say cancel because I'm really still interested in that property in Redondo Beach and I don't want to get rid of it. But let's say that I also want to look in Manhattan Beach and I don't have a folder for that. Then I'm just going to type in this little box right here. Now, when you have your account, this little box will be all the way up on top because you won't have all these subfolders like I do, right? So I'm going to type in Manhattan Beach, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit Add Folder. And now I've just created a folder and the system automatically drops it in alphabetically in the right slot. So now I have a Manhattan Beach folder that I can drop properties into. So now we've seen how the My Properties folder is populated. We've seen how we set up folders under the Manage Folders tab to create our subfolders. Okay. Now we also have a My Searches page. And this is cool because this is where I take and I save searches on my property search window. So we're going to jump right to that because we've got about 20 minutes left and we're going to want to do some actual research here before we end the presentation. But these are saved searches that I've created on previous dates. Notice this one's all the way back from June of 2012 where I created a polygon for the city of Fountain Valley. Now, what I do is I create a search and then I save it, and then whenever I want to open it back up again, I can click on it. Also notice that some of these are highlighted in blue down below. The ones on top are not. The ones that are highlighted, you'll notice that they say under the email notification column, they say deactivate notification, whereas the ones that are not highlighted say activate. Now, that's because that's a button. And if it's highlighted in blue, that means I've already activated a notification option. And if I hit the deactivate option and it's no longer highlighted, that means I just stopped an automated function. Now, the automated function is one where the saved search that I've created becomes an automated researcher looking at properties on my behalf every single business day. Every business day we add new records at about noontime. So we just added them within the last hour because it's about 12:25 right now on Wednesday, May 3rd. So within the last hour or so we added new properties. So I would have gotten emails based on these requests that I had put in, and this is actually funny. This is Manhattan Beach and this is a notice of trustee sale polygon. Notice the name I gave it was Manhattan Beach, NTS for Notice of Trustee Sale. That's the acronym for the Notice of Trustee Sale. And then Poly for Polygon. Now, again, if I click on that Manhattan Beach polygon, it transports me from my Saved Searches screen over to my property search page. Now, this is where you do most of your work. Okay, if I had come in through the home page where I just logged into my account, then I would select property search immediately and I'd be right here. But notice when I did that, nothing's populated. There's no zone selected. But when I go back through my searches and I select the Manhattan Beach polygon, it automatically picks the LA County South zone, which includes Manhattan Beach. Now notice I just put my cursor over the LA County South header for the zone that's highlighted in blue, which means this is the zone that's hot that I'm searching, and that opens up a little window with a list of cities, and within this list is Manhattan Beach. So now if I scroll further down, you'll notice that I've got upcoming trustee sales or notices of sale selected, and if I scroll further down, this is the polygon that I created way back when to search this area of Manhattan Beach. Now, I included the beachfront, and to make it really easy for myself, what I did is I used PCH as one side of the box, and I put the other side of the box out in the ocean, and then I just made a top line and a bottom line. I just closed a trapezoid. I just made a four-sided box that would give me what I considered to be the important part of Manhattan Beach in between Rosecrans and Artesia Boulevard, and PCH and the beach. And that way I've got the entirety of the area that I was interested in, and I saved that as a polygon. Now, let's say that now I decide that I want to change that. I can always go over here and I can hit clear map, and I can make a completely different polygon by left clicking here on Ardmore, making another left click, left click, left click, and now I've got three sides of a funny looking box that's straddling the Pacific Coast Highway in between Marine Avenue and whatever these little streets are here. Now, notice I've got three sides of a box. If I want to finish this box off, it's really hard to connect these last 2 points. My eyes aren't good enough, and neither are yours. But on the right-hand side, I have a button that says Close Polyshape, and I just clicked on that, and now I've got my shape. So now I've created a brand new polygon, and if I wanted to save this, then I'd go back up on top here, and I would hit the button that says Save This Search, okay? And I would create a brand new polygon. Now, but let's just take it from scratch. And I'm going to say, let's hit home again, and let's hit Property Search, and get right back here and start over. So I'm going to hit LA County South again. I'm going to scroll down the page. Now notice what happens when I first enter this page. Notice a default file is selected under the Choose One option. Remember that last search had upcoming sales because I picked one of my preset searches. Okay. Now, with notices default selected, that's fine. That means I get the first group of properties, the notices of default, NODs. Now, if I don't want to change anything, if I don't want to type in a city or a zip code, notice I've got the word city and zip code here on the right, and then I've got a row of boxes. I actually have 3 boxes for cities and 3 boxes for zip codes. So I could type in to the right of the word zip code, a zip code here, and then one here, and then one here, up to 3. City, I could type in one here, and one here, up to 3. Okay, if I wanted to add either a city or a zip code designation. Now bear in mind, anytime we enter anything into these boxes, we're creating a limiting factor in our search. This is a categorical definition to our search. So I could specify a certain zip code, or I could type in Manhattan Beach in the city box. I can also go to the left here where we have property use. Notice it says any type because I haven't specified. I can select the drop-down option, and I could select only residential. Okay, so let's say I'm going to select residential, and I want to choose the Manhattan Beach area. Now we already saw a polygon, so let's just see what happens when I type in the word Manhattan Beach. Actually, that's 2 words. Okay, so I've just typed in Manhattan Beach, but you know, Manhattan's only one, so I'm going to do Redondo as well. Okay, because I'm always a person that thinks that if Manhattan's interesting and I find one that's just over the border in Redondo Beach, do I think my customer is going to say, no, I don't want that house? I don't think so. So I've got Manhattan and Redondo Beach in there. I could do a third one. I'm in LA County South. Remember, I got this big list up here. I could use Lomita or Lawndale. There are varieties that I could, Torrance. In fact, Torrance is a very popular location. Torrance, Redondo, and Manhattan Beach are all kind of contiguous with one another. So let's say I've got residential only, Manhattan, Redondo, and Torrance. Okay, and I've got notice as a default, right? Now I'm not going to change that because I want to look at notice as a default. Now, notice I have 2 types of search buttons. I have search without polygon, and I have search polygon. Okay, now because I didn't make that polygon like I did before around Manhattan Beach like was here, I'm going to I'm going to hit the search without polygon button because I'm using the cities, okay? So I'm going to hit search without polygon, looking for residential properties that got a notice of default recently in these 3 cities. Now, one more point, notice with notice of default filed, I have a listed date range, okay? So the listed date range here is automatic. Don't worry about setting dates when we save a search like I'm going to do right now, because the dates are always going to update categorically for us, okay? So when I have notice of default selected, the system in a standard search will give me 4/19 to 5/3, or the last 2 weeks up until today. So let's go ahead and hit search. So I just got a result for my NOD search, and it gave me a total of 7 records. And notice above the map it says map reflects 0 to 20 of 7. Now below the map I have a 40 and a 60 option, so if there was a bunch more I'd click the 40 or the 60 if there was more than 20. Now, each of these is a notice of default record, just like we saw back on the saved properties page. The first one's on Perry Avenue in Redondo Beach, 2117 Perry Avenue, and this is a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, worth about $1.2 million. Now, according to the system, we have a foreclosing first loan, and there's auction equity of about $1 million. So that tells me we've got a first that's owed approximately $200,000 that's foreclosing on this property because it's worth about 1.2, and the system says the equity is about $1 million. So it seems to me that the first that's on this property is probably about $200,000, okay? Now if I click on the Perry Avenue address, oops, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. All right, what we have is we have a first that was originally $150, and they're delinquent by about $13,000, so it's adding those together and saying they're owed somewhere close to about $163,000, okay? But notice she got this second for $691, so this is interesting. Now, if I wanted to buy this property knowing that it's worth about 1.2, and they seem to owe about $840,000 total, I could still go make an offer to the homeowner. As I said, I could make an offer to the homeowner before this ever goes to auction. So now, let's say I'm interested in this particular property. It's in Redondo Beach. Remember, I have a Redondo Beach folder. So above the map on the right, I have a Save button and a General Folder option. Before I save it, I'm going to select the Redondo Beach folder and hit Save. Okay, so now I just saved this record to my Redondo Beach folder within my My Properties window on my account, so it's just saved for me. I can also scroll down and I can type in notes and even upload photos from the property. Above that is my beneficiary, which is the Bank of New York, so I know it's the Bank of New York. I think that's Bank of America actually, because they bought them out. Okay. Above that is my property detail section that describes the property itself. So notice the 2117 Perry Avenue address is here. And if I scroll up a little, there's the Perry address as well. So it tells us that the owner lives at the property because the mailing address is the same as the house. They have a foreclosing first and a second. I've saved them to my My Properties folder. And let's just say that I'm really interested in this particular property. So now I've got it saved and I can add notes when I drive by the house and maybe take a few pictures. Okay, now if I want to go to the next record in the system, I can click the next button. If I want to close this profile out, I'll just click on the red box with the X and I'll be back at my report. Okay, now each of these is a notice of default record. Notice the orange push pins on the map. Okay, now I'm going to close this out and I'm right back at my property search screen. So let's say that that was a good search. I liked what I got and I want to set up a safe search so that I can pull this up at any time in the future. Don't worry about the dates. Just remember, we've got notices of default. We have one zone on top. Okay, this is important. Only select one zone to save a search. Now, I got LA County South, I've got notice of default, residential only, and I've got Manhattan, Redondo Beach, and Torrance. So now, I'm going to hit the Save This Search option. Notice what just happened. The system just memorized my 3 cities. It memorized residential, notice of default, and LA County South. And it opened up this little window here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call this my Manhattan Redundant Tour. Now, you know what I'm doing is I'm just kind of playing with this. So I've called this my Manhattan for Manhattan Beach, Redondo for Redondo Beach, and Tor, T-O-R-R for Torrance, and then RESI for residential. So I've just defined what's in this search. So when I go to see this later in my saved searches folder, I know what it is. More importantly, when I activate this search function, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get notices. They're going to tell me what's in it. Now, what I am going to do though is I'm going to get rid of a couple of letters here because I want to add one more thing. I want to add NOD because this is my notice of default search. So whenever I get records that come in on this, once I've saved it, my header is going to have these letters in it with Manhattan, Redondo, Torrance, Residential, and NOD. And I'm going to hit save. So what I just did is I just created a saved search for Manhattan, Redondo, Torrance, for residential properties for notices of default. Okay, now to show you the differences, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on my Fountain Valley polygon from before, and this gives me Orange County on top. It gives me notices of trustee sale. Now when it does this, it gives me auction dates instead. And if I scroll further down, there's my Fountain Valley polygon. Okay, so we're all cool with that, right? Now I'm going to scroll back up on top and I'm going to select my searches again. And I'm going to reopen that search for Manhattan and Redondo to show you what it saved. So there's my LA County South. There's my 3 cities, residential, notice of default, and there's no polygon. Okay, now let's say I'm satisfied with the search that I just saved, but I also want to get similar properties that are at the notice of sale stage. Why would I do that? Because notice of default is one category of fresh leads. Notices of sale is another category of fresh leads as well. Because if I'm out there targeting properties in these 3 cities that are residential for a client or for myself, I don't want to leave any stone unturned. So I'm going to pick upcoming trustee sales and just modify the search from notices of default to sale notices. I'm not going to change one more thing. I'm going to hit save this search as an option, and it just memorized everything, including the change to upcoming sales. And remember what I said earlier, don't worry about these dates, because these auction dates now from this point forward are going to update themselves every day automatically, like having an automated researcher, a little robot going into the system and searching properties in these 3 cities for me, finding me residential opportunities that are at getting a notice of trustee sale as well as the NODs once I automate these searches. Now, remembering what I did before, so I did Manhattan and Redondo, and then Tor for Torrance. Oh, I did 2 E's for, that's Redondo. Okay, so Manhattan, Redondo, Torrance, and I'm going to call this my NTS. Actually, I'm going to call it NTS. See, notice how I'm trying to think this through using my search pattern. Manhattan, Redondo, Torrance, residential, NTS. So I've just identified in a very short group of abbreviations and acronyms what's in the search result. So when I get emails into my inbox that have this on it, I can at least kind of figure out what's in it. Okay, because that's the key. If you save a lot of searches and automate them in the system, then what's going to happen is you're going to start getting bang, 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 a group of emails for each particular client. Now, do I have to say this? What if my client's name is John and John is trying to buy a house in this beach area. Then I can make this the John NTS search. Okay, so keep in mind that we want to just do put a name on the search that matches the criteria that you're using to sync into it so you know what you're getting. So now I'm going to hit the save option, and now what do I have? I've got my Manhattan Redondo Torrance Residential NOD, and I've got my Manhattan Redondo Torrance Residential NTS searches. Okay, now because I just did a single zone, LA County South, notice I've got this activate notification option. If you ever set a search up like this and you open it up and there's no activate notification option, that's because you might have chosen 2 zones. Don't do that. Okay, you could do it, but you wouldn't be able to set up the activate notification option, and that's limiting. The cool thing about this is once I hit activate notifications, it's now highlighted in blue, which means it's now hot. And I'm going to activate both of these searches. So now what have I just done? I've just created a search of those 3 cities for residential properties that is now going to automatically deliver to me every weekday a new list of properties as they come into the system. Fresh leads every day. So now I'm going to get residential properties coming into me that I can go out there and target so I can make offers, or if I'm an agent I can try and get listings. Okay, now if I'm tracking properties to auction, then of course I can save properties to the auction by simply going to the NTS search. Notice I just clicked on the search to open the record. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Here's my information, upcoming sales. Notice it gives me auction dates from today forward, and then I can modify that. Let's say I don't want to go to the auction today. Let's say I want to go to the auction tomorrow or Friday. And so I just modified it to the 4th and the 5th. Okay, residentials, right? And I'm going to select only active sales because I want to buy at the auction. So I don't want any canceled. So I'm going to hit the search without polygon because I've got the cities. And I got 2, both in Torrance, one on 177th and one on Atkinson. Okay, both of these appear to have an equity position going into the auction. Okay, now these numbers can get bigger, but it looks like each one has over 100,000. But this one on 177th, this appears to have 162,000 in equity. And that's interesting to me. Now, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Notice below the auction details, I have an option to select a status change update. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to select the option for a status change update. This will notify me of any changes, reduced bids at auction, cancellation, postponement, you name it. So I'm going to then put in my email address. Okay, and I'm going to hit the submit button, and that one has just been set up to automatically email me if this auction gets canceled or postponed. And then up on top I have a save button, and this is in Torrance. So I don't know if I have set up a Torrance folder. I don't think I have. No, I don't. So I'm going to put this one in Bob's Houses and save it there. Now later, when I'm in my account, I can set up a Torrance folder and simply transfer this record right from Bob's Houses to the Torrance folder, but that's for another day. This has been Bob with County Records Research. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Wednesday presentation, a website overview, how to save searches, how to save properties, and how to look in some areas over by the beach and find opportunities to buy a foreclosure.